Sup fighters, Sam Battlefields here. Just going to give you a update. I haven't been posting updates for a while on my journey towards this weekend. This weekend's Grappling Industries at Brisbane. Part of the reason being is because I have been extremely sick basically through about 3 to 4 weeks. I got a massive cough. Some of my updates might have sort of kept up to date with it, but essentially what happened was my boy, who's still sick, poor little man, he brought home something from daycare. I'm particularly susceptible to respiratory infections, that sort of thing. I'll go into that later as to why. But yeah, it's one thing that it's really made me look at. Let's just do the quick rundown. So I lost probably about 1 kilo over this whole sort of experience. Not much at all, but mainly because I wasn't actually I was barely training. And when I say barely, like, there was a couple of weeks where I really didn't even train at all. Really sucked. I did sort of ease off on my alcohol consumption. Although last week I kind of got to a point where I hadn't been training for a while, and so I ended up having a few beers here and there. But nothing like what I was doing prior, so I was sort of having like maybe a 6-pack at most, 7 beers, and when you consider that my few beers in the past was like 12 minimum, I feel like there's some sort of a progression there. But yeah, one of the main problems was that I had this cough that literally, like, when it got cold at night, I could not sleep because I would just be coughing and coughing and coughing. And it got to the point where my missus had to get out of the room because I was just coughing so much. It was shit, bro. Like, honestly, there was probably 4 to 5 days in a row where I had a cumulative 5 hours sleep. Like, I'm still sort of catching up on this sleep. Man, it was shit. Everything hurt, and I got to Sunday last week. No, fuck, my timelines are all off. Yeah, Sunday last week, maybe Monday. And I got genuinely concerned, genuinely scared at night. I was like, fuck, I can't do another night like this. Like, I was, I looked at the carpet. I don't know if you've ever had severe sleep deprivation. I've done it to myself a few times. Don't worry about that. That's another story. But I've had some severe sleep deprivation in the past, and part of that made so if you might have also been on hallucinogenics, and you see the carpet moving like this, and that's essentially what had happened. I got really kind of fearful that I was going to have to face another night in this where I wasn't going to get sleep, and so I did a telehealth appointment. Spoke to the guy, got prescribed like a couple of hardcore things. Hardcore. One of them was a antibiotic, just a broad spectrum. One of them was just go hard on the prednisone, whatever it is, and another was this bupamine or whatever, something not bupamine. I think that's something for drug addicts, but this was like not an inhaler that you that you squeeze, but you had to breathe it in really hard, and then I got a fairly heavy cough syrup, which was alright. But essentially I was out and didn't train until Saturday last week. So in what I was hoping in the month of July, what I was hoping for was to be training 4 to 6 times a week with additional sort of strength and conditioning and that sort of thing. Turned out to be it will turn out to be approximately 7 all up, 7 or 8 sessions of jiu-jitsu. So it really did force me about a week and a half in, when I realised that I wasn't getting in the training, and that I was 2.5 weeks out and I wasn't getting the training that I wanted, that I needed for this particular competition. There was a few things going on as well in regards to the business side of the gym, and it made me really sort of take stock as to why and what and who and how and the reasons behind or underpinning why I had decided to go to comp, and part of that was that I wanted to show people in our gym that like comps are good. Go and do comps. I do comps. That kind of thing. That was a big factor. Another reason why was because I've only done a couple of comps in my life, so I kind of did want to put some effort to it. But one thing that the business side of things came up, and then on top of that, the fact that I was sick, and I really had to dig deep and figure out what it is that I trained for, what it is that I bought the business for, why, what it was that got me to do jiu-jitsu sort of in the first place, and why I love it so much, and but also where I want to go with it. And I do want to compete in the future, and be much more focused on competing. But for the time being, what I really want to do is just get my brown belt. So focus on getting my brown belt, and that way, I currently feel like I can, I am quite knowledgeable in jiu-jitsu. Obviously not as knowledgeable as some people, but I am a student of the game, and I do research, and I just feel like I want to get better skill-wise, teaching-wise, coaching-wise, and as much as I think that that's possible through doing comps, I think that there is a lot that I can do outside of comps that will further my goals in that respect. So that's not to say I'm not doing this weekend's comp. I knew I wasn't going to be prepared when it was about a week and a half, 2 weeks in to July, and I hadn't really trained as much as I wanted to because I was sick. When it got to last week, and I really hadn't trained much at all, that was a big factor for me. I realised that that I wasn't going to be 100%. And the other thing is that the division I'm in has, I've entered myself into 4 divisions or something, and including 2 absolutes, no gi and gi. And what happened? There are so many people in no gi, and I barely train in no gi, so that was something else that we sort of reviewed. And our gym is now going to have 2 no gi days because that's the bulk of what people are wanting to do these days. I mean, personally, I like the gi. Maybe old school traditionalist, all that kind of caper. Maybe it's also because I'm slow and I don't have those big explosive moves, and the young fellas do normally beat the shit out of me. Well, kind of. But yeah, so the main thing would be the update. I am still competing this weekend. The absolute division is the only one that's got people through it. So yeah, we'll see how we go. I wonder if the brackets are up. Anyway, this is Sam Battlefields giving you an update as to the comp on the 31st of July. So I shall speak to you soon. Much love. Peace.